Hello, 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 and welcome back to Eternal Hearts. I am gonna share with y'all today a dream that I had the other night where Beyonce appeared in my dream. Okay, I followed that up by the next day, or that day, because I think this was like in the middle of the night between the second and third. And so on the third, as of yesterday, I looked further into this and I want to share this with you all. This is for entertainment purposes only. Um, this is not necessarily being presented as facts. This is just me sharing the dream, me sharing the questions that I asked following the dream, and the cards that I received as an answer to those questions. Okay. So I have a lot of notes here in my notebook that I wrote down, as well as in my computer here. And with that being said, thank you for joining me here on Eternal Heart Goddess. If this is your first time joining me here, hello and welcome. If you're returning, thank you, thank you, thank you for the like, shares, comments, and your commitment to the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this dream. All right. I did have a dream of Beyonce, and in this dream, she appeared to me sitting in a small kitchen. Okay, it looked like a very small kitchen, kind of more so like a box. All right, it was very small. In considering, when I consider like her status and stuff like that, it didn't look very, very luxurious in this kitchen. Um, so I took that as asylum, safe haven. Okay. Uh, they were eating a shrimp and basil dish from what I could, see in the dream. It was just her and her children, as well as a lady sitting at the table, who looked like a mothering like energy, a protective energy. She was a darker skinned woman, looked more possibly ancestral, someone that she was very comfortable with and felt a level of protection with. Okay. She, being Beyonce, I noticed was holding something under her garment. Okay. The the shape that appeared under the garment, of course I couldn't see exactly what the shape was in the shape of like a book. Okay. I was able to touch it for just a second. She did allow me to touch it before grabbing my hand gently but firmly, as to say no or not yet. Okay. It was very gentle energy, grabbed to my hand, just basically guiding me away from the book, like this is mine right now. Something hidden, something I felt was a little bit more secretive, but it was a thick like book shape. Okay, I could definitely feel that through the garment. Um, so that was pretty much all that I was showing, all that I was shown, of course, and I can't really um recall much else in that dream. The children that I did see, particularly one small child, was wearing sunglasses. So I looked at that as like there's been some type of protective lens over the children, like she's went into protection mode for these children. Okay. Following that dream and my, of course, when I woke up, I did want to start looking into some questions. Okay. Um, her purpose for appearing in my dream, because this isn't the first time she has. A few years ago, I had a dream about Beyonce as well, where she appeared, and in this dream, I was helping her form like a collage of all of her different eras, her different looks, and things like that. And in this dream, she did end up you know, taking her own head off, which means like, something being dismantled. And this was a few years ago. So now that this is happening and she's appeared in my dream again, I feel like that dream was basically leading up to now. Here we are today. All the allegations have came out, okay, concerning the husband, Jay-Z, okay? But to further get into, let's get into the questions, first of all, that I asked following this dream. I asked what was her purpose of appearing in my dream? And I don't know if you can see it up here. I can't get all the cards on screen. But the cards I received was the King of Wands, okay, the Six of Swords, and Justice on the bottom of the deck. This is telling me that she's, depicting herself with this King of Wands energy, okay? This sovereign energy, that she holds the creative power, and also that she's in control of her narrative, and she has financial independence. All right. Depicting herself as the King of Wands is almost the same as like the modern archetype of the Empress, the Queen of Wands, the Emperor, like combined, is saying that she owns her power, her reputation, as well as her self-worth and her storyline. Okay. That's what this represents. Because it's next to the Six of Swords, I get that this is telling me that she's decided to move away from, relocate, or emotionally distance herself from the current allegations, okay? This is leaving stress behind. This is leaving what she may deem as an injustice, okay? Leaving turmoil, okay, because the Six of Swords is usually, and it's depicted, if you can see, this does give me, the lady in the boat does give me kind of like, depict Beyonce a little bit to some level, okay? I did get the word replicated. So she doesn't want her image to be used and replicated in any way, or be replicated in these allegations in any way. That would be an injustice to her, is what she feels, and that's her reason for moving forward. Okay. Possibly even relocating. I know that there are rumors that, they've left the country, or she's left the country, because I did get the word asylum. So she's definitely gone somewhere where she feels safe, that is not open to the public, where media cannot reach, okay, to replicate her in anything, to use her image, to use her voice, especially with all of the AI that's going on, how powerful AI has grown to be, and AI having the ability to replicate an image or her voice to drive a narrative. All right. Justice is like saying, I'm not doing this again. I'm leaving for my peace of mind, okay? I'm making an executive decision while, these legal proceedings move forward, okay? Self-respect and having boundaries. I'm leaving because it's the right thing and not because it's the dramatic thing to do. As you can tell from her silence, okay? When putting these together, I look at this as just leaving a situation that she feels isn't fair, at least to her, okay? The justice is upright, so, she understands there's a cause and effect for everything that is done. This is anything you do in the dark coming to the light. I think that she's fully aware of that aspect of how justice works, how karma works, okay? But she's choosing self-protection and to keep her dignity at this time, irregardless of what is going on. All right. I get this as a desire for security, a wish to step away from something that is like overwhelming and draining at this point. Again, I have a feeling of, I'm not doing this again. I've worked too hard to have to go through this again. All right. This is basically saying that she's allowed to leave situations that aren't fair and move towards stability without guilt. And that is what she's doing or has done at this point, because this is her purpose for coming in my dream. Okay. My next question is, why has she left Jay-Z, or why has she moved away? Okay. I received the King of Pentacles reversed, the Three of Swords, okay, the Wheel of Fortune, and Temperance at the bottom of the deck. All right. And I don't know if you guys can capture all of these. I'm not sure I'll be able to get them all in there, but it's okay. Some of you are only listening anyway. Okay. Now, with this, asking why she left Jay-Z or why she moved away, with the King of Pentacles reversed, in which the King of Pentacles usually represents somebody who is stable and reliable, financially secure, usually a loyal character trait, has a protective provider-like energy when it's upright. Now, we're talking about the King of Pentacles being reversed here. And that King of Pentacles represents Jay-Z, okay? In this case, with him being reversed, it creates instability. Someone who likes to control things, the lack of follow through, okay? Emotional unavailability, or someone who feels like I provide, so that's enough, okay? So, someone who's ruled by possessions, okay? Ruled by materialism, may act in hasty or disloyal ways to get things that they want, okay? Someone who prioritizes status, okay, or comfort over emotional connection, okay? That's sitting here next to the Three of Swords when it's talking about why she's moving away, or why she has moved away or distanced herself, which is what we got before with the Six of Swords. She's definitely left, whether that is emotionally has left the building, or physically has left or moved, or both, okay? With the Three of Swords here, this is feeling like heartbroken over something, okay? Feeling betrayed, or disappointed, feeling like there's lingering grief that just wasn't healed between them, okay? Pain that kept repeating. This is cyclical. So there's something that with the Wheel of Fortune here just keeps happening, okay? And she's ready to close that cycle. All right. Emotionally hurt because of the lack of stability, the lack of reliability, or the emotional support that is needed, okay, for someone to feel secure within a connection or a situation. All right. In this case, when we have the King of Pentacles reversed next to the Three of Swords, we're talking about emotional pain has definitely outweighed the sense of security at this point. Okay. And purpose is moving away from this. This creates accumulated pain rather than impulse at this point. Okay. With the Wheel of Fortune here is saying, again, as I stated, this is a repeated pattern here with this person. It's always something. It's always something with you. And I want to say she's even said that in her song on the Lemonade album. Like, it's always something with you. Okay? Something where you repeat it, there, like a lesson you're not learning, like a giving deja vu here. Okay? Oh, here we go with this again. You know. The Will speaks about the breakup wasn't about one event, or she didn't leave because of one single event, or because of this situation, like these allegations coming out. This is like a constant, you're making me look bad kind of thing. Okay. And pretty much this was going to happen eventually at some point. It's like we keep opening the same wound, never really healing that wound fully before another wound is inflicted, kind of thing here. Okay, is what I'm getting. And I think that she has simply outgrown this dynamic. This is not how she wants to lead her life anymore. Okay, she's had an identity shift, clarity, coming to terms with who someone is and who they are not. Okay. Now, this isn't, me giving facts. This is just what came out in the cards to the questions that I asked. So please remain, non-biased here. With the King of Pentacles being reversed and the Wheel of Fortune that appeared on the bottom of the deck, which speaks about karma, cycles, okay, fate. It's talking about comfort turning into complacency. One partner is shifting and the other one is remaining the same. Okay, they're resisting to change. They're resisting to, honestly, to overcome their lower self, is what I get from this. One trying to heal and ascend from a previous situation, and the other somehow still finds their way with their foot in the mud again. Okay. Overall, this is telling me that this separation for her creates a new path, not just an ending with the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. One chapter closing and another one opening. Okay. Also, at the bottom of this deck, we had Temperance. Okay. Temperance speaks about wanting harmony instead of tension. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want balance. I want to feel like, there's harmony. I have tranquility in a situation. Okay. This is saying I can't keep living in this emotional climate. I need equilibrium. Okay. This is no longer something that works for even my mental health. Okay. She doesn't have the mental capacity to take this stuff on anymore. All right. So this is her emotionally separating herself, maturity rather than impulse, self-control instead of angry. This is not her being angry. This is her being like, I'm over this. I'm avoiding further conflict or damage to her name, to her family. Okay. Is what I see here. This came after many attempts to reconcile, to compromise, or even to adjust to the circumstances, at least on her part, is what she's saying. Like, I've tried with this many times. I've maintained that loyalty through everything, okay? And it just isn't fair anymore. It just isn't it's not giving what I'm giving, okay? So when combined, this is saying that, leaving felt like the way to restore her inner peace and stability at this point. Okay? Mentally, emotionally, and an entire lifestyle balance. So this is why she left Jay-Z, or the reason why she's moved away over here with the Six of Swords here. And she's her own authority with the King of Wands. She's empowered, right? She has a name for herself that does not cross or interlink with him. All right. At least that's what she wants us to understand about her. Okay. I then asked, well, how does she feel about the current allegations when it comes to Jay-Z? Like, how do you feel about the allegations? Okay. And I received the Hierophant. All right. The Three of Wands. The Ace of Cups. And this Queen of Swords here, bottom of the deck. All right. I've categorized these into the questions and how I ask them. All right. The Hierophant definitely talks about respecting the marriage here, because literally on the Three of Wands, you have a husband and wife marriage. Okay. So she's talking about the marriage. She's saying that she's looking at the situation through principles and values. Okay. Commitments. All right. Right and wrong with the Hierophant here. She could be possibly consulting advice like the law or trusted counsel as well when it comes to these allegations. So somebody here has either, that they're lawyering up, all right, with the Hierophant, because they're dealing with facts. She said, I want to deal with facts and not gossip here. All right. This is saying what's the right thing to do. This is also someone who believes in commitment to their vows, okay? And they don't usually just jump ship easily, okay? So this is not somebody who, oh, you've been accused today, so therefore, I'm leaving and whatnot. It's like, let's deal with the facts. Let me move this up. Because I am committed to this person, right? But I also know that there is right and wrong. And this either aligns with my values or it doesn't. All right. The Three of Wands is always, the Three of Wands, we're usually waiting on ships to come in, right? Traditional meeting. We're waiting on something to unfold. We're waiting for the results for something. All right. So she's watching. She wants to watch how things unfold and not rush judgment with these allegations. Okay. Because I have the feeling like, with some of the stuff that's coming out with these allegations, she's just as shocked as the public, okay? I don't get the feeling that I've even heard most think that, like, she knew this about him. She knew, okay? Even logically, let's look at some of our own partnerships and our past relationship experiences as well. And, maybe, if you've been in a situation where you were betrayed by someone you thought you knew, it's kind of that same thing. This is just at a higher level. Our own personal situations are not publicized in the way that they would be publicized when it comes to a celebrity. But it doesn't mean that because you're not a celebrity that you haven't experienced someone who was wearing a mask or lied about who they were or didn't reveal their past. They could have been one person in the past and a totally different person when they got with you, but somehow their past, chases them down and resurfaces. So we could look at this situation as being something that's just as a shock to her. Okay. But I have to also sit back. These cards are saying, and watch things unfold the right way. I can't just jump ship with commitments that I've made. This is, but this is considering the long-term implications of something too, how this can affect her. But she's also looking at, let me see where this goes before I emotionally invest or detached. And that's the reason for her removing herself, right? I need to get clarity about this with the justice, because I am about what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. But I want it to be factual, not feelings. And that's her Virgo and energy as well. Virgos deal in facts, meticulous details. Okay. I'm not just going to run amok because I don't know what's fact-based and what's not. And I think a huge thing about that is because you can be easily replicated through AI as well, when it comes to pictures and things like that. So I got to know what's real versus what's fake, what actually happened and what was manufactured is what I get from this. Okay. And this is her saying, I'm not in denial, but it is strategic patience with the Three of Wands here. Okay. This Ace of Cups is basically saying love is still present here. I still love this person. I have made a life with this person. So this is not something where you can just turn and say, nah, I hate this person that you've been in a connection with for 20 years, 20 plus years, whatever, however long they've been together, right? I'm not sure what that number is, But this is saying that there is still love here, emotional openness, or even hope for a situation for this. Not completely numbed out. Okay. I still have genuine feelings. There's an emotional softness here for this person because, again, she knows a version of Jay-Z that we don't know, right? She's in the intimate connection with this person being her husband, as far as I'm concerned. And that's what it's saying here. Because we do have the Queen of Swords at the bottom of the deck, but I am not, this is a head over heart situation here with the Queen of Swords. I'm keeping a clear head about what this is. I'm being analytical. I will cut through the lies, and I will not be easily manipulated in this situation. It's facts over replications. It's facts over manufactured, manufacturing lies, basically. And she's saying, I get what's happening here, but because I want the facts and I have love for this person, right? She has compassion for him while the public may not have any compassion for him at all, right? But because she is who she is to him, even if she's left him for now, even though she's distanced herself from at least the public, or could be him, why did she move away, right? We looked into that. It's saying I still have compassion or love for this person, but I will not ignore the facts. I will protect my dignity if necessary here, okay? She's being fair about what's going on here and clear-headed, all right? Love with boundaries, okay? And with all this combined, it's saying when it comes to these allegations, this is hope mixed with caution, okay? This is loyalty, but also protection and self-preservation as well at play here. I care deeply, but I will not abandon my standards or intelligence, okay? I am prepared to make a rational decision if truth confirms the wrongdoing with the Hierophant. That's how she feels about the allegations, okay? For those who were wondering about that. Now, I did ask, and before I get to this, I do want to say that I am going to go back to talking about the dream, and I did pull cards on what that book under the garment represented, okay? But we're going to get to that last here. We're going to talk about that last. But the final question that I had was, if this person, we're talking about Beyonce here, was to put out a public message or statement, what would she say to the public? Which more than likely we know that that's not going to happen. But if she were to put out a statement to the public, what would she possibly have to say here? And I'm going to move these over here, because what I got with this was the Tower came out first with this card. Okay. The Tower came out first, which speaks about a shocking revelation. Okay. This is saying I'm not pretending here. Something big is definitely happened, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it with the King of Swords here. I can't sugarcoat what has come out, what's been revealed. Okay. And she's not looking for sympathy. This would be her addressing a scandal, a possible rumor, but all at the same time, this is a major event. Okay. She's saying, I'm acknowledging something that can't be ignored anymore. All right. With the Tower here next to, the King of Swords, but I am going to be logical. Okay. Her statement would be logical. It would be fact-based. It would be precise in strategic wording as well. And we know that. Okay. It would not be emotionally based at all. It would be an intelligent, clear, but legally, okay, King of Swords, strategic and careful with the words, honey, okay? Here are the facts, and I'm not debating feelings. This is saying I'm only dealing with facts. I don't care how anyone feels. This is not about feeling. This is about fact. This is her family we're talking about here. Okay. Um, and that's what she's saying. If she were to put out a statement, this is the energy of that statement would have. All right. The Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck, okay, that I got here, I feel like represents, media, news, word traveling fast, okay, things taking off, okay. So that's the media going back and forth. Those could be the people, that have, gotten on her accounts and kind of chastised her about what has come out. All right. But she would want a statement to clear up the air, honestly, here about ending speculation. Okay. This is not something we're here to speculate on. We're dealing with facts. And as those facts come in, she will know what to do. She's in control of her own narrative and the pace of that narrative. And she would want to prevent misinformation from spreading at the rapid rate that it is. Okay. This is saying I am addressing this directly, but I am not going to entertain rumors. Okay. I am moving forward while the facts are coming out. Okay. This is very serious to her. But she is detaching. She's detached from the emotional body when it comes to this. Okay. This would be a swift, clean, factual statement meant to dismantle confusion and reestablish control of the narrative. Even if that's her own narrative, because with the Eight of Pentacles and the Magician here as well, she's saying like, she's worked very hard, and she does not want her craftsmanship, the work that she's put in, to be mixed in with what, the media is putting out. Okay. This is saying that she's focused. I'm working and I'm in control of the narrative and the outcome when it comes to me. I deal with facts and facts alone. I will not be easily provoked. I'm gonna focus on maintaining my mental, clarity and intelligence. This is not oversharing. No emotional spirals. You will get nothing from her. Okay. You will not get a reaction. And this is pretty much common Beyonce energy when it comes to, she probably ain't going to be doing no interviews is what I'm saying. However, if she was with the Eight of Pentacles, she wants the public to focus more on her craftsmanship. Focus on the work. My actions and work ethic will speak for me. She doesn't want people to forget the dedication she's had to the art here with the Magician. Okay. The fact that she's her own agency. She's her own personal agency who's in control of her own reality and in control of her own resources. So, and that's basically being said back over here with the King of Wands as well. She's not some damsel in distress is what she would want people to know. It says that she knows what she's doing and she has the tools and she's not powerless here. Okay. I think that there is a narrative that Jay-Z controls this, that, and the third. And I think we probably, a lot of the public probably thinks that because of her silence in a lot of the situations and things like that. But Beyonce is saying that she's not powerless here. She's very much capable of handling this while not being distracted from her work. I think that in a lot of, especially that Lemonade album before, it's pretty much restating kind of some of those lines here, is that her results will speak louder than speculation. She's in control of her own path here, her own dynamic. She has her own resources. She has her own money. And again, this is not damsel in distress. Okay. She is not seeking public approval. She's not apologizing here unnecessarily. And she is quietly confident, okay? She's competent, focused, and has, you know, intentional forward movement here, all right? Is what she's saying, is what she probably would say if she was to put out a statement. But like I said, honey, I don't think any statement. It looks like it'll be coming anytime soon. She's basically saying her actions supersedes all of this media allegations, news, replications, things like that for her. All right. Now, I do want to move back over here because in that dream, again, I saw that she was hiding a book-like object under her garment. Okay. So you could clearly see the shape of this book through her garment because she was holding on to it. In the dream, I had said at the beginning of the video that I did attempt to touch the book or to grab the book, I guess, you know, and she did grab my hand as it, you know, gently but firmly, like, no, not right now, or not today, or whatever. And I did want to look into, what did this book under her garment represent? Like, what is this book? Okay. And I received the Six of Cups. Okay. So definitely something to deal with the past. Okay. Memories of some kind. I received the Knight of Swords, the Page of Swords. And so that's somebody that's like documenting something. Okay. As it happens. The Six of Cups again represents the past, you know, memories, a time when things were maybe simpler. Okay. Something nostalgic, old stories. Like this could represent even her. This is like her personal diary, possibly even. Okay. It can represent, you know, lessons from the past that still influence her present, you know, her vulnerable thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. Pieces of her memories that she cherished, okay, that are not just going to be easily given out, okay? Now, when I get done with this, I'm going to tell y'all what I think this might be, okay? The Knight of Swords coming out next to the Six of Cups adds a level of urgency, right? The Knight of Swords moves really fast, okay? They're very talkative in this energy. It's very daring, okay? So next to the Page of Swords, this could be very daring things, you know, direct communication that would cut through a lot of confusion, okay? If this is a diary, whatever these writings are that she has, because I did get the High Priestess as well here, these are definitely secrets. These are definitely written things that only she knows, possibly, okay? But the Knight of Swords says, it's not meant to stay hidden forever, okay? With this Page of Swords too. This is something that eventually this knowledge will come forward, okay? Whatever she's holding on to tightly here, all right, in this dream. But it could represent her actively searching for facts or clarity of the past. So this may be also her saying that she's getting insight as well into some past things. So there's definitely something here that maybe that she knows that someone else doesn't know that she knows, okay? Or that she's gathering, or that she's, you know, been, again, gathering over a certain amount of time here, all right? Because the Page of Swords talks about research, watching quietly, gathering information, right? Investigating something, all right? So this is journal keeping, all right? Beyonce possibly keeps a journal. I wouldn't be surprised if she has documented her private thoughts when it came to something, okay? Again, diary talks about personal writings, secrets that are, you know, hers, and she's guarding them, especially with them being under her garment. They are, when we are talking about under the garment of somebody, we are talking about very private matters, okay, being documented here, all right? This could be her thoughts or plans that she's not ready to announce. Okay. So that being combined with this book, right? It was a book under the garment. You could definitely see the shape, like I said. So that being combined is some level of emotional history, maybe personal lessons, her inner thoughts, her most inner thoughts. Okay, because when you go through a lot of pain with someone, there's going to be a lot of documenting those things. And that may be the only way that she's able to get it out. Okay. Queen of Swords was definitely on the bottom of the deck. So these are her honest feelings, right? These aren't sugar-coated, right? These aren't sugar-coated in any way. All right. It's a protected truth, and it will be selective disclosure as well. Okay. So it's not just anybody's going to know about these things. All right. But this is still something I feel like is in the works. Like this could be, her memoir, at the end of, at some point in her life that she releases, maybe in book form. Okay. That, you won't know till I'm not here type of thing. Okay. With the Queen of Swords, there's boundaries when it came to this, because again, I reached for the book in the dream, and while she let me touch it, it was just like, again, she firmly grabbed my hand, gently but firmly, like as in, no, not yet, or at least not right now. She's protecting what was in that book. All right. It's not necessarily that she's, I guess, hiding it, but it's like, okay, not everyone deserves access to this information. Okay. To her innermost thoughts. All right. And that's pretty much sums up, really, that's Beyonce energy all day, But this hidden book could represent, information that she keeps private for self-protection. This could be her way of protecting herself shall things get out of hand. All right. A way to, fight for herself and her children. All right. In the event that things take a definite turn here, especially with the Justice card coming out as part of the purpose of her coming into my dream. All right. She's being observant right now, not naive, but she's definitely taking her sovereignty right now it's being taken very serious right now. And that's priority, her sovereignty. She's basically saying, I decide what gets revealed in my life and what does not. Okay, she's very much in control of her narrative, is what I get from this. She's guarding something here wisely, but no, not fearfully here. Okay. The High Priestess knows something. These are secrets. This is, intuition, whatever the case may be. This is saying, again, I'm not a damsel. I have what I need. When I need to use it, especially with the Magician, I have the resources that I need when it's time to use those. It's like, I know how to pull a rabbit out of a hat when it's time. You're not dealing with some weak person here. Okay. Beyonce also could be saying that she has a lot more power and influence here. And she's very resourceful than people may think she is. And it could also be saying even more so than Jay-Z. Okay. I'm the one with the money. I'm the one with the talent. I'm the one with the intelligence. They say behind every, honey, good man, we gonna put the quote on quotes on that, is a strong woman, is an intelligent woman. All right. This is someone who's very, again, calculated. Okay. This has calculated energy, strategic energy, but not nefarious energy, if that makes sense. I'm protecting what is mine. I'm protecting my narrative moving forward. I am focused on improving my work, my performance with every waking day. And her narrative will not be changed by this man because of something that is rearing its head from his past, is all I get from this, okay? So please, any questions, comments, leave them down below. I would love to hear from you, but that's all I have right now. I just wanted to share a dream that I had and the questions that I asked following that. And so I appreciate your likes, your shares, and your comments ahead of time, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.